for our next session. We have not one speaker, but two. First up, he's a university lecturer, high school agriculture teacher, former president of the New South Wales Agriculture Teachers Association, now CEO of the Primary Industries Education Foundation Australia. He spent his career connecting young people to the land through education, and he used to be called the Chicken Man when he showed poultry. Luciano Mesiti. Alongside Luciano, he founded Fizzics Education in 2004, has reached over 4 million students across Australia, a Churchill Fellow, UTS Chancellor's Award for Excellence, that's just something that he's received. He makes science come alive and he brings that energy to the showground. Ben Newsome. Over to you, Luciano and Ben.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Patrice. It's great to be here today. As Patrice has introduced me, I'm the CEO of Primary Industries Education Foundation, and I'm here to talk to you about why education is important. It's great to have that bit of data previously in that poll. About 30% thought that education was a high priority, and for me, education is really important when it comes to ag shows. I want to talk to you today about PIEFA, our programs, and the importance of curriculum and the importance of why what we do in our organisation, and Ben as well. Ben will talk about what he does, why that's important in terms of programs in ag shows that might attract young people and schools. So we are a national not-for-profit organisation, and we develop teaching material for classrooms as well as for ag shows. We worked with Ag Shows Australia previously and developed a number of resources which do sit on the Ag Shows Australia website. We also support teachers by providing them with professional development, and that's extremely important, especially with the changing nature of agriculture. Agriculture, its innovation and technology and changes that are happening, it's very important that students and teachers are up to date. And we also provide career information, because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is to encourage young people to work in agriculture, and that's really one important outcome. We have a number of websites and resources that we have to allow us to do that. primezone.edu.au and primezoneacademy.edu.au, as well as careerharvest.com.au, have over 100, well, more than that. PrimeZone's got nearly 700 free to download resources, and Career Harvest has a whole range of different careers, day in the life of videos and the like, and really everything that we have on PrimeZone is curriculum aligned, and that's vitally important because that's what teachers really need to use in the classroom. So there are our main programs, and as I said before, from the classroom to career, and it's the same for shows and the same for engaging the general public as well as those young people. That what we're hoping to develop is a sense of understanding about the journey from knowing about agriculture to actually working in agriculture. And we're not just talking about farms; we're talking about the whole supply chain, from the farm to the fork. It's really important we understand that, and that way the work that we do tries to provide more confidence for our teachers and students to enable them to understand those connections. And so we have a myriad of resources across all industries that are freely available from our website, and it really is easy for you to go to our websites to access those. And a lot of the schools that we work with across New South Wales already access these resources as well. So that's a really small snapshot of who I am and what we do. And we have a monthly newsletter which will tell you all about the wonderful world of food and fibre and agricultural education. But now I'd like to hand it over to Ben Newsome to talk about Fizzics education.
Thanks very much, Luch. Much appreciated. Really, go check out PIEFA. I'm going to leave that slide up there. Hit the QR code. There's stuff that's on that site will really help you from an ag education point of view, because eventually that's exactly what ag shows are about, is develop the who's coming up next. That's exactly the whole point. But Yes, so I'm Ben. Nice to meet you. I've been lucky enough to meet a few of you. I was looking through who's hanging in these sessions before. I tend to hang out in this green and blue tent, tending to do the science stuff. And it tends to look like that. We've got a bunch of team members. We have team members in Sydney and Melbourne. We travel to many schools and agricultural shows all over the place. We've been doing so for the last 22 years. And in terms of to schools, it's been something that we've been doing from preschool to year 12. What I want to talk about is less about us, more about from the school side as to what they're thinking about if they're going to turn up to the kids area, what they're actually genuinely looking for as they try and pack in their day. That's what I really want to look out for. So I'm going to skip ahead beyond our things because we do that type of thing, and certainly you're welcome to get in touch if you want to know about that. But what I want to do is I'm going to do a bit of a look through the curriculum itself. Now, we live in New South Wales, therefore there's a New South Wales curriculum, and what we want to do is I'm going to sort of simulate looking through the website that's right on your screen. So if you happen to have some form of grabbing a phone and grabbing a QR code, you can play along. You can literally follow along with me. We're going to go through the website and work out how would we link a plant growing area in one of the pavilions to the curriculum itself as it stands today. Imagine that you're doing for year 1 and year 2, and that's what we're going to do. So if you're not playing along with me on your phone, these links definitely Ag Shows New South Wales will send it out after the fact, and there's a slide at the end where you can go grab that as well. So let's play along. Let's go find out how on earth you link to an actual thing, because this is what teachers are actually looking for. And if you're across borders, look for the Australian curriculum or the Victorian curriculum, yeah? But we're playing in New South Wales, so we're going to play in this way. So here we go. When you first click on this, it's going to look like this. I live in science teaching land, therefore I'm going to probably want to click on the science area, which is there. That's where I'm going to want to look. If you want to look at the art pavilion, because I know I nearly always visit the pavilion that has art. I love it. It's always a good thing to check out. Obviously, go and check out the creative arts syllabus. But for now, I'm going to talk in science because we want to work out how do we link this year 1 and 2 grade levels to your plant growing area. Righto, so we move on forwards. New South Wales went through a big curriculum reform. It's a big deal. Any teacher sitting through this, I know there's teachers sitting in this because we just heard them called out before, know what curriculum reforms are like. It's a big deal, which means when you land on this page, it almost feels a bit messy. Basically, if it's on the left, it's old, and if it's on the right, it's new. Simple as that. Now, of course, I'm going to play in science, and because I'm dealing with K to 6, it tends to be the K to 6 area. You click on that thing, and it's going to take you to the next page, which rapidly changes. Now, sometimes it's hard to find, well, right, where are these outcomes that the teachers are actually looking for? All you got to do is right in the middle, the top of the page, it says outcomes. Click on that guy. Great. Then you click on the one on the right-hand side, show aligned content. And the reason why you do that is that allows you then, see how there's hyperlinks down the bottom, like literally down the bottom. Click on that, and that'll actually take you to the outcomes that the teachers actually have to report to when they justify to their principals and eventually the higher ups, why did I take my students to this ag show? What did we actually learn, right? So the things that they report, because I'm an ex-teacher, are these outcome codes and how much time they put against it, yeah? So here are your codes. So there, see the big red box around there? They would actually type into their reporting, I did STI SCI01. Oh my gosh, mouthful, right? But that's what they're going to do. They're going to say, we learned this stuff, and which part is going to handle our grade 1 and 2 learning about plants area? Well, it's the descriptor to the right-hand side. Now, if you, oh, I went too far. I pressed my button too fast and I went too far. There you go. It's there. Now, if you're wondering, like, this is something that the teachers all have to live through. So, which means if you think on your committee, there's undoubtedly people who already teach or have past teaching experience, or you're talking about volunteers with the biggest tick for the number of people who might join, if you look to your future, maybe get a volunteer teacher to help wade you through all the different pavilions and all the different exhibits that you have at your show. How might you link it to the syllabus? Because that's eventually what the teachers are genuinely looking for, yeah? So what would they report to us? Report to their school, they did this. This is their year 1, grade 1 and 2. They would say, we did these things. Well, guess what? That's exactly what you put on your webpage. That's exactly what you say to your schools. If you go to the plant thing, you're going to learn this dot point and you're going to learn this stuff. It's important because it's how they actually report back for their own learning. It's actually what they've got to do. Now, as you go further, there are a heap of things that can support schools. Now, what really helps schools a lot are those pre and post visit activities. And that's exactly what Luch was talking about with PIEFA. There's a whole bunch of activities to help support agriculture education. But I think from a teacher's point of view, they want to know, where's the bus go? They want to know, where are the things and what timetable is those things happening? But there's a really strong opportunity as you look at your different sponsors and what's actually happening at the show on that Friday and Saturday and whatever day that you run your show. Well, how might you get them to engage with the schools prior? We're all sitting on a webinar, like literally by definition. So you could have them organise a special meet the show 2 weeks prior, right? 3 weeks prior, something like that. You could have a speaker rock up to the show because they're literally driving to your town. If they can go to the show the day before, that's probably not a bad value add for that industry partner. But I tell you what, it also helps the schools themselves go, right, I know what kind of go look for, right? So that's like just a brief thing. But eventually, this is only my opinion. I would just ask your local school, what do you want? What are you looking for? And then you give them that. That's the best way to engage schools. So if that slide might be handy, I kind of hope it might be. Now, eventually, the people that get people like Fizzics and all the reptile people and all the things happening in that kids area, someone had to sponsor it. So this one's a really good example. So there's a Nara show. Hi Nara, if you're here. Okay. Nowcam has been a long time sponsor of that particular pavilion, and they supply chemicals. So it kind of made sense to support the liquid nitrogen show. put the sponsor right next to us, and inevitably, so that's me up on stage. I said, hey, go talk to Nowcam afterwards. Makes them very happy too, right? So engage with the sponsors, and it helps very well. So you only have a short amount of time, so those supporting links are there. Again, they're going to be supported afterwards, but if you're phone inclined, grab the QR codes, and that'll help you out with that. And at that is enough of me. And if you've got any questions, please throw it through the Q&A down the bottom, or over to you, Patrice.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you, Luciano. So a takeaway from listening to you, Ben, for me is it's easily done. It's not onerous. It's all about that keyword curriculum. You've got to align with the curriculum. I've got that in my brain now. And Luciano, you highlighted that there's no shortage of food and fibre resources for teachers and students. The hard work has been done. Go and find them. So questions for Ben and Luciano. As Ben said, pop them in the Q&A down below. I've got some questions to ask you right now, guys. Firstly, what is one simple education initiative every agricultural show could implement with local schools? I'll let you choose who wants to respond.
You go first, Ben.
I was going for you. No worries. I can throw my 2 cents. Think about the local produce. What is it that you actually produce in your local area? Whether it's on the meat side or if it's on the crop side, whatever it happens to be, focusing on that and go, righto, schools, here are your links. Here are your supporting content that supports your local industry. The teachers would love to teach about it as quickly as they could. If you can help them teach it, you're going to help the local community 100%. But also when the kids arrive, they're going to be more likely to be engaged because they actually know what they're talking about before they turn up, and they're going to ask better questions. So I would actually say talk about your local industry, whatever your ag show supports, because that's eventually a job, or part of it. Do that. And then get content to the teachers. If you don't know the teachers, just contact the principal.
And I think just carrying on with what Ben was saying, we have a lot of schools that are really keen to know more about industries and careers. So, getting some ambassadors, some key people within the communities who are, the agriculture's their life. And maybe providing some short sessions where schools and teachers can talk to someone who's actually working in that industry. That opens up a whole new world, especially when you're trying to break down the stereotypes about agriculture equals old man on a tractor, when in reality, It's more about the wonderful world of technology innovation and the fact that so many great people working in industry, producing food and products that we need in everyday life that keeps the economy rolling along.
Thank you, guys. Okay, we've got a question from Janine Kayama. How do you encourage schools to attend when your show is in the middle of the school holidays?
Well, that's I guess Ben would have a lot of experience in this. That's a tough call as well for us because not only do we run events for teachers and students, it's about somehow providing an incentive to enable to do that. So packaging up some information, getting some key people there, and having something exciting like what Ben has on offer at the Ag Show. So it's really about marketing and a lot of lead time to try and make that happen. You probably already have young people and schools already at those shows if they're showing animals, etc. So you've got to try and capture that and understand who's actually already signed up to be there.
Yeah, thanks, Lucia. I'm going to throw a couple of ideas. I'm going to put schools to one side for a moment. The local children's librarian nearly always runs some form of community engagement activity. In fact, the number of times that we've been engaged to come out because there's state funding for community uplift, get them involved because they'll have the youth groups involved, and they're really keen on getting ages 11 through 18 to turn up quite often. So that's one side. On the school side, my child's going through year 11 and 12 vet ag, which I'm stoked about, which means if you think about from a vet point of view, so vocational education and training, this is a perfect opportunity because these kids literally have to tick off hours to get their course done. It's a no choice. They actually have to do it. So I'd actually go, right, well, I know it's the holidays, I get it, but here is actually a way that your students, because there's going to be some kids doing some vet, especially we're talking the high school side, who can be engaged straight away and they can actually get genuine hours against the subject because eventually it's about curriculum alignment and that's straight up as close as you can get. The other part is, I mean, for want of a better term, the circus has come to town or everything's come in on that day, it just happens to be on the weekend. It's like, well, if you happen to shoot them across, here are the things that are happening, and here are the curriculum outcomes, et cetera, it's up to the teacher to say whether they're going to tick it off or not. But I would imagine there'd be some that would go, you know what, everyone just rock up on a Tuesday, we're going to do some extracurricular trip. I mean, it happens with school camp. Why can't it happen during holidays? A little bit of a long bow, but it's at least letting them know it's there. Can't hurt just to let them know, hey, there's stuff for you.
We've got another question here from Claudia Humphreys. I believe she was the young woman for Oberon show, involved with Oberon, living in Dubbo. Is physics education something that you have gone to local schools with? If so, what was the process to get your programs at schools? So for the last 20 odd years, that's what we've done. We go to several hundred schools a year in this state, which we're very lucky to do. It actually works quite well from if we rock up to the school the day before, the couple of days before, it becomes the travel costs suddenly are different because, I mean, eventually we have to be engaged to get out so we can pay our staff. And so if we can share travel costs, that means everyone kind of gets lower costs on that anyway. But here's the thing that can kind of help. If we know that we're at the school the day before and we know what the content happens to be tomorrow, and here are the timetables, we don't run that show. We run something different that's curriculum aligned. We say, hey, by the way, come check out the show tomorrow because there's other stuff to come do, which means, okay, we're putting on the ag show hat completely because I know there's teachers here, but for now we're just pretending we're all in ag only. You're effectively marketing the show by being at the school. Because you're telling like several hundred kids, there's a show tomorrow. Go check it out. Now, of course, the school would never ever let you into a school unless you actually have curriculum aligned stuff that's going to meet their needs. So what you want to do is whoever you're engaging to have come out to your show, make sure that it's not their first day, that they actually do know how to go to schools and do it properly, and that they're supporting the school's needs. And then
hopefully they'll then support the ag show as well. So yeah, absolutely. The easiest thing is just to get in touch, and yes, we've definitely done that before.
I just can't emphasize enough. I keep hearing this word curriculum. It must be curriculum aligned. I feel like Ben's really driving a clear message there. Thank you for your questions, Claudia and Janine. I've got one more question for you both before we let you both go. How do we turn today's students into tomorrow's volunteers, exhibitors, and show supporters? Luciano.
Well, look, that's certainly a big issue across the board, and I guess getting more and more young people involved with the organisations of shows. Like, if, for example, I've had young people over the years when I've been teaching get more and more local shows, especially with being stewards with the poultry, with the cattle, with all those sort of activities. Really, and it starts at school by demonstrating to kids how that all happens and transferring that to a show. So getting them engaged with those hands-on activities, especially if you've got a cattle team or a poultry team or whatever it might be, a sheep team, trying to encourage those kids to be more involved, more actively volunteering, being stewards. But the point is explaining that to the kids and saying you can do this. You can go to the Royal Easter Show and be a steward, or you can go to the Orange Show and be a steward. A lot of kids and some teachers don't really know that those. I think just making it apparent to the local community that there is a need for volunteers to do a range of different roles, and promoting that within the community and the schools.
Yeah, and my 2 cents would be have a chat with your industry sponsors and partners and think about career pathways. Those 2 words, career pathways, is music to the career teachers' ears in high school because it's literally the thing. So rather just being an add-on, hey, go check out our career pathways, actually make it really deliberate. Say, right, I've actually lined up an opportunity for you to go meet XYZ person at 11 o'clock at this pavilion, and there is an opportunity for you to actually get apprenticeships or whatever it is whatever that floats that kid's boat, but give them a reason to go. And also work with the industry partner and go, well, right, well, if we're going to partner with the school, like you're trying to uplift a lot of these companies are actually fighting for staff. It's sadly happening. So, right, here's a genuine opportunity to partner with the school and go showcase what you do and your opportunities into our spot. Here's the stuff you've got to train in, your traineeships, apprenticeships, and what you might do in tertiary, or you could literally come in entry level straight after year 10 if you'd like. So, yes, we definitely want to get hands on as much as possible, but give the teenager an opportunity to actually go, right, I can actually work here. And if they're like year 1, 2, and 3, like they're going to go make it interesting. They're not that going to be interested in the pamphlet. They want to do something.
Great advice from you both. Thank you so much, Luciano, and thank you, Ben. And thank you again for your questions.